So now we will be joining the 2008 server with our Windows XP. So in our Windows XP, before opening, ensure that the Windows XP settings in the network adapter, under network, the adapter 1 should be enabled and attached to internal network. Now we will be connecting the two. In the Windows XP, in the start, just right click my computer, then go to properties. Go to the computer name and select the change. So based on our requirement, the computer name should be surname-winx. For the domain, we will input the domain of our 2008. So to find our domain, it's over here. It's tuptbranch.com.ph. branch.com.ph. Select OK. Wait for it to load. And if this pops up, that means it was able to connect to server 2008. So in here, we will use an account that have information, at least an admin privilege permission. So I will use my main account, Janeo, and the admin password. Click. So now it says that welcome to the tuptbranch.com.ph domain, meaning that we were able to connect to our domain from our 2008 server. So click OK, and let's restart the device. So now after the restart, we will now log in with an existing user. So go to the administrative tools. In this example, I'll be using my own account, which is an admin account. So the password is admin_123. And the logon to text box, you should select the TUPT branch, since the this computer means users within this computer within the XP. But that user is not in the XP, but instead in the server of 2008. So that's why we will choose the TUPT branch, so that it will read the user of Janeo that is located in the server 2008, which is over here. This account. So we will now try to log in. And it should log in now and display my name. So here now, it's success. We now log in as Janeo P. Bagon in Windows XP. So since this is a Windows XP, this is a Class A network, so we will check if the IP block is the SUSE 10.0.0.0 and subnet of 8, and should only be included with male users. So let's go with CMD. In the CMD, we will type ipconfig/all. Let's check our IPv4. So under the Ethernet adapter level, check your IP address if it does use the 10.00.11. So the reason that it displays 0.11 and not 0.1 is because we exclude the first 10 usable host address. So since that's correct now, we will now add 5 male users for each section in this OS. So that's how you add a users from your Windows 2008 server to an extended OS, which is, for my example, is Windows XP. So now we will try to add users for our Windows 7 now.
So now on this part, I already finished setting up my Windows 7, but in this video, I am showing on how I did configure that. So first, I am checking the domain. So in the computer, select properties and change settings. The Windows 7 should be an ultimate, professional, or home premium in order for you to change the domain because the home server cannot change it. So in here, I just entered the domain name. Now I'm trying to log in with my account within the 2008 R2 server that I have logged in there. So in here, I'll be using the administrator account. After adding the domain, you will now be able to log in your account in the server. So here my domain is tappbranch.com.ph, the same as the one in the 2008 and XP. Since now it is connected, I can now I will now check the IP address. So you see in the Ethernet, it actually shows 10.00.12, but based on our instruction, it should be 172.16.0.0 since the Windows 7 is now Class B. So in order for us to change that, in the control panel, go to the Network and Security, the Network and Sharing Center, go to the Change Adapter Settings. So we will now configure the local area network. So right click, then go to Properties. So it will prompt and ask you to log in as an admin to change the network server. So I just logged in the administrator account. Then select the IPv4 and property. So just the same as before, use the following IP address and insert the IP address stated in the instructions. So in here, 172.16.0.11 for the IP address and the subnet for 255.255.255.128. We'll also change the default gateway, which is 172.16.0.126. As for the preferred DNS server, we'll use the same as the default gateway slot. So after that, select OK. Now that we change our IP addresses, we can now check in ipconfig all if that was saved. So under the Ethernet adapter again, check the IPv4 address, and now it says 172.16.0.11. It shows 11 because in Class B network, we should exclude the first 10 usable host address. And in this part, I will now be adding different users that is logged into my Windows Server 2008. So just log off and then log in with the new user. So the same process, just repetitive loop of logging in and logging out. Switch user, other user, and then since Class B is for women, we will try to log in a women account. So now since the account that we will be logging in is her first login, we will be prompted to change our password. So just change the password. After that, try to log in again. Now the password has been changed. And now we will be able to log in that account. So on this, I successfully logged into an account. So now I will then try to log in to a different account now.
So now that we were able to log in and log out from different accounts from our 2008 server in our different OS, we can now see the scope within the DHCP server that it is now active. And in Windows XP, this is for the boys, while for the Windows 7 is for the girls. So now we will try to log off. But first, let's check our IP address first. So search for CMD. Windows R CMD. We will check the IP address of each OS. ipconfig/on Windows 7 ipconfig/on. So for the class A, it should be using the 10.0.0.0 IP address, and for class B is 1.72.16.00. So class A is the Windows XP. So we will check under the Ethernet adapter local area connection in the IP address section. It should display 10.0.0.11. That is because based on the instruction, the first and last 10 usable IP address should be excluded. So that's why our IP address in Windows XP starts at 10.0.0.11. Now let's check in the Windows 7. Windows 7, it should be using the 172.16.0.10. So the Ethernet adapter local area network connection, IPv4 address, it uses 172.16.0.11 in the subnet mask. So we were able to clarify that it is using the proper IP address. And let's try to log into a different account now. So log off. So I have a list here. Let's start for voice. Bar, users 1, 2, 3. So since this is our first login, our password must be changed. Okay, let's change our new password. For the Windows 7, we should also test it all as well. So now this is our Windows XP. Let's see, it's now a different account, so it's bar now. So now let's try in Windows 7. So we're gonna switch user, other user. Let's choose email user. Let's go for Antonio. So since this is our first login as well, the password must be changed. So let's change the password. This is the account that is newly logged in. And now the password has been changed. So we wait it for it to load. Try to log off here. See if we can still log in a different user. So now let's check first Windows 7. So now we are logged in as Antonio. So the IP, we conclude now that the IP addresses are correct and we were able to log in with different users that is stored in our 2008 R2 server. So that's all for today. Thank you.